Dan Vallis here from InformedChristians.com, a website ministry devoted to discerning current events from a Christian perspective. Today we're going to look quickly at the days of Noah in a general sense and also in a very specific sense for the season we find ourselves in now. Of course, standard disclaimer, this is a watch, not a prediction. I'm only sharing with you a situation report of what is going on right now. A watchman watches events and movements and passes on the intel. That is the purpose of our ministry's situation room, to have an understanding of the times so we can better know what we should be doing now. 1 Chronicles 12:32, which were men that had understanding of the times, to know what Israel ought to do. If you do not have an understanding of the times, you will not properly know what you should be doing with your life, family, career, education, hobbies, finances, energy, ministry. You will never be able to see the handwriting on the wall if you ignore the wall. Do you know what time it is? Do you know what you should be doing now, today? This particular situation report examines when the Son of Man, Jesus Christ, is coming in the days of Noah and Lot. When is Jesus coming? A lot of people think that he's coming pre-judgment, before the tribulation, often known as pre-trib. Expect that he's only coming after the tribulation is over. Jesus Christ is coming at the end of the tribulation, that's obvious, but he's also coming at the beginning, before it even starts. He told his disciples that he was coming in the days of Noah and Lot, and he gave them a checklist that was very specific of how they were going to have a life goes on mentality. Life was going to be going on like normal. They were going to be eating and drinking, partying like there's no tomorrow, buying and selling, investing as though they have some type of future, planting as though they have weeks and months ahead of them and expect a return on it in the future, building as though they're going to be around for years still, marrying as though they're going to have kids and grandkids and retire one day. Life going on with the expectation that life will continue to go on like normal. And Jesus said that is when the coming of the Son of Man is going to be. That is when also the coming of the Son of Man will be. And it will be the days of the Son of Man when he shows up. And it will be in the day when the Son of Man is revealed. Jesus said, I am coming when the days are going to be like this. You see, once judgment started, nobody's doing that stuff anymore. The second, Sodom and Gomorrah was burned to a crisp. They were all dead. They weren't doing that. After the flood started, everybody was dead. They weren't doing any of that stuff. The same with the tribulation. The second it starts, people are going to realize this is the end of the world. It's all downhill from now. There is no future, as far as they know. And the majority die. You read the statistics in Revelation, the majority die, and more die in the first half than in the second half. The people are going to realize instantly the party is over. They're not going to be doing any of that stuff. All of that is pre-judgment. And that's why Jesus warned his disciples to pay attention and not be caught unaware, not be caught with the crowd that's living as though life continues to go on, because it will not. So where are we today? Well, right now we find ourselves in October, obviously, and recently we experienced the Fall Feast, the prophetic Fall Feast, which are a pattern and rehearsal. And back in September 15th, started the Fall Feast. Now this diagram here shows the feast days and the calendar, the Jewish calendar, based on a lunar sighting calendar, which is what I believe prophecy goes by. And then also compare it against a man-made calendar so we have an idea of what's what. And I just offset it a little bit to show the difference between Israel time and Central Time Zone. Now, obviously, first of all, there was the Feast of Trumpets on September 15th, and that signals the new year and the first month. And then 10 days later, you have the Day of Atonement, also known as the Day of Judgment and Yom Kippur. And this year, there was a fourth blood moon shortly after that on the lunar calendar again. And we hold that the blood moon is only a celestial marker. It is indicative, not prescriptive. It should catch our attention, and we should compare what is going on because it is unusual. And so it does draw our attention to the celestial, but then also to further what is going on around this time period. Next on the calendar was the Feast of Tabernacles, the next 7 days. And then the 7th day of the Feast of Tabernacles is known as the Day of the Judgment, when the final sealing of judgment is complete. The judgments that were made back on the Day of Atonement, on the Day of Judgment, this is the day that supposedly those judgments are finally sealed. And there's no changing them. And then the 8th day is connected to the Feast of Tabernacles, but is a day and festival, feast of its own. And it's often seen as a picture of the millennial time period. So now we are only a few days after that. And we are shortly coming up to another significant event on the 23rd, which marks the historic time noted in Genesis 7 of when Noah entered the ark. And so we literally find ourselves right now in the days of Noah, when we're coming on to the time of year that is literally the days observed and memorialized as right before Noah entered the ark. And Genesis 7 tells us the specific day that the flood started on is the 17th, but then the same chapter also tells us that Noah entered the ark 7 days prior to that. So we are looking primarily at October 23rd as being pretty close to the time of the anniversary of when Noah entered the ark. But what is also interesting going on right now is that the weekly synagogue Torah readings also happens to be in the exact same portion of the Bible, going through the passages dealing with Noah and Lot. For example, on the October 10th, the Torah reading was from Genesis 1, 6 through 8. And you were introduced to Noah. And then on the 17th, it's going to cover the ark and the flood, the rainbow, Tower of Babel. And then the next week is going to be an introduction to Lot, an introduction to Sodom. And then the week after that, it's going to cover the destruction of Sodom and Lot's wife. And it's interesting when we overlap this and look at the timing of where we just find ourselves just exiting the pattern and rehearsal of the fall feasts. And symbolically, judgment has been sealed and declared. And we are now in the time period between when judgment has been sealed but has not yet been handed down, that we also find ourselves literally on the anniversary of Noah entering the ark, which means we're in the days of Noah when this is celebrated and observed. And then we're also in the days when the yearly Torah reading comes to the passage on Noah and Lot. So we are literally in the days of Noah and Lot, both scripture reading and observance time frame. Then in addition to that, obviously, we are on the days of Noah and Lot with the mentality and lifestyle of the world, living the same way too as well, with extreme wickedness going on top of that, but still living as though life is going to go on. So we find ourselves with so many things converging right here that we need to be paying attention and we need to be ready. We do not know what's going to happen, but we should be ready because Jesus did say he will be coming back in the days of Noah and Lot. And this seems to be a good fit, but we will see. Hebrews 10:25, exhorting one another, and so much the more as you see the day approaching. The Bible tells us that we will see the day approaching. We have a day to look for. We have a time frame to look for, the days of Noah and Lot. We are looking for that right now. We will see it approaching. The verse kind of implies that you might not reach it. We don't know when Jesus Christ will come back, but it appears that it may be this season. So we should be ready, and we should be exhorting one another so much the more to be ready, to serve God, to cast off the world and not be distracted by the world, not to be captivated by the world, but to serve God even more as we see the day approaching. Romans 13:11 through 12, knowing the time, that now it is high time to wake out of sleep. For now is our salvation nearer than when we believed. The night is far spent. The day is at hand. Let us therefore cast off the works of darkness, and let us put on the armor of light. Do you know what time it is? Do you have an understanding of the time? It is high time to get busy. It's high time to put off the things that are holding you back from serving God the way you should. It's time to trim your lamp, trim off what shouldn't be there. It's time to purify out of our life what should not be there. It's high time to wake up and realize what we are supposed to be doing in light of what is going on in the world. The night is far spent. The opportunities you had last week, yesterday, they're gone. You're not going to get them back. We have so little time left to serve God. Make the most of it. Now is the time that you should be burning the candle at both ends, going overboard, being zealous, being addicted to the ministry, so to speak, serving God so much the more as we see the day approaching. Don't worry about what other people say. Peter walked on water and he was with Christ and he got to do things and see things because he followed and stepped out on faith, even though there were 11 people still sitting back in the boat telling him he was going overboard. Serve Christ first and highest above all, and only worry about what he will say. The night is far spent, the day is at hand. Let us therefore cast off the works of darkness. Now is the time to cast off, throw things out of our life. Lot's wife was not willing to let go of her world. It meant more to her than getting out of it. What about you? We should ask God, what do you not want in my life, Lord? What do I need to cast off that's slowing me down, that's preventing me? Even good things that are preventing me from running the way I should run for Christ. The night is far spent. Let us put on the armor of light. Are you wearing the armor of God, or have you taken it off? Are you easily defeated? Put on the armor of God. Now is the time to put it on. We're running out of time. It's high time to wake up and serve God so much the more. Luke 17:32. Remember Lot's wife. This was the warning Jesus Christ gave his disciples. Remember Lot's wife. She would not let go of the world. She was overcome by the world. And so she was allowed to stay and enjoy it. And that's the warning Christ gave his disciples. If you do not overcome the world in your own life and cast it off, then you might be left with the hypocrites and the unbelievers to enjoy it while it burns around you. Remember Lot's wife. Jesus is serious about that. Matthew 25:6-7. And at midnight there was a cry made, Behold, the bridegroom cometh, go ye out to meet him. Then all those virgins rose and trimmed their lamps. We hear the trumpet call of prophecy and the events of our world, and we see all around us in the news that we are in the days of Noah and Lot, shouting that the bridegroom cometh, the Son of Man will be revealed soon, very soon. Is your lamp trimmed? What do you need to cut off so that you can burn brighter for Him? Be sober. Be paying attention. Don't be distracted by stupid stuff. Be focused. Be vigilant. Be ye ready. Maranatha.